Don't sign it. He's playing you.
What is happening?
Marcus Reed stood in the rain outside St. Luke's Hospital, holding a pink backpack against his chest like it was the only thing keeping him alive. Inside that backpack was his daughter's stuffed rabbit, a math worksheet with a gold star, and an envelope he had not opened yet because he already knew what it said. More money. More treatment. More time he did not have. His phone buzzed. The landlord. Again. Marcus ignored it and looked through the hospital window. His 8-year-old daughter, Layla, slept under a thin blanket, her small hand wrapped around a plastic bracelet with her name on it. "Daddy's here," he whispered, though she could not hear him. Marcus was 34, a widower, and a janitor at the glass tower downtown called Voss Global. By day, he cleaned floors that cost more than his car. By night, he sat beside Layla and told her stories about brave queens who beat monsters. But that night, the monster had a bill. A black SUV stopped at the curb. A woman stepped out without an umbrella. Her silver heels touched the wet pavement. Her coat was plain, but everything about her felt expensive. She looked at Marcus, then at the hospital window. "You are Marcus Reed," she said. Marcus tightened his grip on the backpack. "Who's asking?" "A woman who needs your help." He almost laughed. "Lady, I clean offices. I don't have much help to give." Her eyes moved to the envelope in his hand. "I can pay for your daughter's surgery," she said softly. The rain seemed to stop around him. Marcus stared at her. "You don't even know my daughter." "I know enough." He took one step back. "Nothing that big comes free." The woman looked over her shoulder, like someone might be watching. For the first time, Marcus saw fear in her face. "It is not free," she said. A car rolled slowly past the hospital entrance. The woman lowered her voice. "I need you to marry me for 1 year." Marcus blinked. "What?" 1 year. Publicly. Legally. No romance. No questions. He shook his head. "You picked the wrong desperate man." She opened a small card and placed it in his palm. On it was one name. Evelyn Voss. Marcus looked up, but the woman was already walking back into the rain. Then his phone buzzed again. This time, the text was from an unknown number. "Say yes tonight, or your daughter loses her bed tomorrow." Marcus looked at Layla through the glass, and the choice crushed his chest harder than any unpaid bill. By midnight, Marcus was sitting across from Evelyn Voss in a closed hospital cafe. The lights buzzed above them. The coffee tasted burned. Evelyn had removed her wet coat, and Marcus saw a bruise near her wrist, half hidden by a gold watch. "Who hurt you?" he asked. Her hand moved under the table. "That is not part of the deal." "Then there is no deal." She studied him for a long moment. Most people looked at Marcus like he was invisible. Evelyn looked like she was reading every scar he carried. "My father built Voss Global," she said. "Before he died, he left a condition in his will. If I am unmarried by Friday, control of the company goes to my uncle, Charles. He will sell the children's medical division and close the charity wing your daughter uses." Marcus leaned back. "So this is business." "It started that way." "That is not an answer." Evelyn's voice broke just a little. "Your wife, Tasha, helped design the first low-cost heart monitor we ever funded. I found her name last week in an old file. Then I found Layla's case. Marcus froze. Tasha had died 2 years ago, leaving behind a box of old notes and a daughter who still asked heaven for phone calls. "You used my wife to find me." "No," Evelyn said. "I found you because she trusted my father once. And because everyone around me can be bought." Marcus looked toward Layla's room. "I can't sell my name. I am asking to borrow it," she said. "And I will put every promise in writing." The next morning, Evelyn returned with breakfast for Layla: pancakes, strawberries, and a tiny cup of syrup. She wore jeans and a gray sweater, nothing like a billionaire. Layla opened one eye. "Are you the pancake fairy?" Evelyn smiled for the first time. "Only on weekdays." Marcus watched from the doorway as Layla giggled. It had been weeks since that sound filled a room. When Evelyn left, Layla whispered, "Daddy, she looks sad." Marcus swallowed. "Some rich people are sad too, baby. Then maybe we should be nice." That afternoon, Marcus signed the papers with one shaking hand and kept the other hand on Layla's blanket. At the courthouse, Evelyn stood beside him like a secret. No rings. No flowers. Just a judge, a stamp, and a promise that felt heavier than love. After the ceremony, before Marcus could breathe, Evelyn's phone rang. She turned pale as she read the message. "Marcus, saw only 3 words on the screen. He knows already." The marriage hit the internet before sunrise. By 7, every screen in Voss Global showed Marcus's face beside Evelyn's. The headlines were cruel. "Billionaire CEO marries janitor in secret." "Gold digger husband?" Marcus walked into work with his lunch bag in one hand and his daughter's hospital bracelet in the other. People who had never learned his name now whispered it like dirt. In the executive elevator, a tall man in a navy suit smiled at him. "Marcus Reed," he said. "Charles Voss. Evelyn's uncle." Marcus did not take his hand. Charles laughed. "Smart. She told you I was the villain, didn't she?" "She didn't have to." Charles leaned close. "My niece collects broken things. Sick kids. Dead projects. Men with bills. But when she is done, she puts them away." The elevator doors opened. Marcus stepped out, but Charles called after him. "Ask her why your wife's name was buried." Marcus stopped. Before he could turn, Charles was gone. That afternoon, Marcus found his janitor locker empty. His uniforms were missing. His time card had been cut. Security met him at the service hall. "Orders from upstairs," one guard said, unable to meet his eyes. Marcus called Evelyn. No answer. He called again from the hospital. Still nothing. Then a nurse came out with a paper in her hand and pain in her face. "Mr. Reed, the payment hold was reversed. We need to talk about Layla's bed." Marcus felt the floor move. Layla sat inside, drawing a house with 3 people in front of it. She had given one person silver shoes. "Is Miss Evelyn coming?" she asked. Marcus folded the eviction notice from the hospital and put it in his pocket. "I don't know." That night, he went to Evelyn's penthouse, but the doorman would not let him up. Cameras flashed outside. Reporters shouted questions. "Did she pay you to marry her? Did you know your wife worked for Voss?" Marcus pushed through them until Charles appeared at the doors, calm as a pastor. "She lied to you," Charles said. "Tasha discovered a defect in our heart monitors. Evelyn's father hid it. Your wife was going to expose him." Marcus's breath caught. Charles handed him a flash drive. Proof. Give it to the press, and I will pay for your daughter myself. Marcus stared at the drive. Then his phone rang. It was Evelyn. Her voice was a whisper. Marcus, whatever Charles gave you, don't open it. He killed my father. Behind her voice, Marcus heard glass break, then a man say, "Find the husband." The line went dead, leaving Marcus with one truth and one trap. Marcus ran. Not to the police. Not yet. He ran to the only place nobody looked at: a janitor, the basement records room of Voss Global. He still knew the old service door code. Tasha had taught him one thing before she died. Truth always leaves a receipt. With trembling hands, Marcus plugged the flash drive into a dusty computer. A video opened. Evelyn's father appeared on screen, older and sick. His voice shook. "If you are seeing this, Charles has moved against Evelyn. I trusted my brother, and it cost lives." Tasha Reed found the defect. "I ordered a recall." Charles blocked it, then framed the report as a lab error. Tasha died before she could testify. Not by accident. Marcus gripped the desk until his knuckles burned. The door opened. Evelyn stood there, barefoot, her sleeve torn, her eyes full of tears. "I tried to tell you," she said. Marcus stepped back. "You should have told me before I gave you my name." "I know. My wife died, and your family kept breathing." Evelyn nodded, taking the hit without defense. "That is why I married you. Not just for the company." Charles needed one more board vote to destroy the records. "As my husband, you became legal family. You can speak at tomorrow's emergency board meeting. Tasha's evidence can finally be entered." Marcus laughed once, empty and hurt. "So I was a key?" "At first," she said. "Then I met Layla. Then I watched you sleep in a chair for your child. Then I remembered what courage looked like." Footsteps echoed down the hall. Charles entered with 2 guards and a smile that did not reach his eyes. "How sweet," he said. The fake family found a basement. Marcus slid the flash drive into his pocket. Charles pointed at him. "That man stole company property." Evelyn stepped in front of Marcus. "No. He is my husband." "For 12 days, Charles snapped. "For as long as it takes," she said. Marcus looked at her small bare feet on the cold floor, planted like roots. For the first time, he believed she was not hiding behind him. She was standing with him. At the board meeting the next morning, Charles smiled until Marcus played the video. The room went silent. Then Marcus placed Tasha's old notebook on the table. "My wife did not die quiet. You just stopped listening." Police entered before Charles could run. As they took him away, he shouted, "She used you." Marcus looked at Evelyn. "Maybe," he said. "But she also told the truth when it could cost her everything." Then the hospital called. Layla had collapsed. Marcus reached the hospital before the elevator doors fully opened. Layla was awake, but her lips were pale. Machines beeped around her bed. The doctor spoke gently, but every word hit like thunder. "The surgery must happen today." Marcus nodded, though he could barely hear. Evelyn came in behind him. Her hair was pulled back. Her eyes were red. She carried no purse, no papers, no shield. "It is paid," she said. Marcus turned. "The board froze your accounts. I sold my mother's lake house. He stared at her. Evelyn looked at Layla. A house can be bought again. A child cannot. Layla reached out a weak hand. Pancake Fairy. Evelyn took it and smiled through tears. Right here. Before the nurses rolled Layla away, she looked at Marcus. Daddy, tell me the Queen story. Marcus bent low and kissed her forehead. The Queen was scared, but she stood in front of the dragon anyway. Layla looked at Evelyn. Was she alone? Marcus's voice cracked. Not anymore. Hours passed. Marcus sat with his elbows on his knees, the same pink backpack beside him. Evelyn sat across from him, not touching him, but not leaving either. At dawn, the surgeon came out and removed his mask. She made it. Marcus covered his face. Evelyn pressed both hands to her mouth. Then Marcus crossed the room and held her. Not for cameras. Not for a contract. For breath. 1 year later, the hospital charity wing had a new name. The Tasha Reed Children's Center. Marcus no longer cleaned Voss Global. He ran its community outreach program, hiring parents who needed second chances. Evelyn ran the company, but she no longer walked like every hallway was a battlefield. On the anniversary of their courthouse wedding, Marcus found Evelyn in the children's center garden. Layla was chasing bubbles in the sunlight, stronger, louder, alive. Marcus held out a small velvet box. Evelyn's eyes widened. Marcus, our contract ends today. I know. You are free. He opened the box. Inside was a simple ring, nothing like her world, everything like his. I was never yours because of paper, he said. But if you still want a husband, I would like to start with the truth. Evelyn touched the ring, then his face. Yes, she whispered. But only if pancakes are included. Layla ran between them. And syrup. They laughed, and the sound filled the garden like music. Marcus looked at the hospital window where he had once stood in the rain, terrified and alone. This time, his daughter waved from the sun. Sometimes love does not arrive with answers. Sometimes it arrives with a secret, a sacrifice, and the courage to stay. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share.